In 1993 in northern Sweden the winter. Cold stretched to the horizon covering everything with white snow. The village of Jam lay quietly on the mountainside surrounded by towering old pine forests. The people of Jam mainly lived by hunting and gathering their peaceful lives passing day by day. One early morning when the fog was still thick, a young girl named Freya woke up early to fetch water for her family. As soon as she stepped out the door, Freya sensed something different in the air. Quieter than usual, she took a deep breath of the damp pine scent, looked up at the gray sky and felt a chill from the unusual silence as she approached the public well. Fr's feet suddenly stopped as a heavy sound echoed ahead. She strained her eyes through the fog, her heart pounding as if it wanted to escape her chest. Not far away a massive figure was slowly emerging, moving deliberately and cautiously. Frigga realized it was a huge grizzly bear twice her height, its dark fur covered with thin patches of snow. Surprisingly, the bear didn't growl or attack. It was gently holding something soft in its mouth as it came closer. Fry just saw that the thing was wrapped in an old woolen blanket, red and covered in snow. Fear pierced her body, but curiosity and instinct compelled Freya to stand still and watch. The grizzly bear crouched down, lowered its head and gently placed the blanket on the ground in front of Fra. In an instant Fra was horrified to discover it was a child. The baby's face was flushed red and stained with dried blood. Despite her shock, Fra cautiously approached, her eyes constantly darting around to see if the bear would attack. However, the grizzly bear remained silent, its eyes pleading with none of its usual ferocity. The baby stirred and let out a weak cry, bringing tears of pity to Fr's eyes. She bent down and picked up the child, feeling the small cold body and the faint fluttering heartbeat. At that moment the villagers of Jam heard the faint crying and rushed out to see everyone stunned. A burly man named Goran shouted, "Back away, it's dangerous," fearing the bear would suddenly attack. But the grizzly bear stood there, its dark eyes watching the baby, seemingly waiting for its safety. Old Grandma Elsa, the village elder, trembled and exclaimed, "I've never seen a bear bring a child before." Freya turned the blanket over, seeing dried blood and crude stitches on the baby's stomach, evidence of an injury. The grizzly bear lowered its front legs and bowed its head as if handing the baby over to the villagers, then looked up one last time. Suddenly it let out a soft growl, turned away and disappeared into the fog without looking back. "Call a doctor quickly," Frigga yelled, carrying the baby into the nearest wooden house where Grandma Elsa lived. Grandma Elsa hurriedly lit the fireplace, her whole body flustered, unable to believe what she had just seen. The baby's breath was faint and rapid. Freya quickly tore off her coat to keep the baby warm, tears streaming down her face. Mr. Hellman, the village's medical expert, rushed over to examine the wound. Everyone around held their breath, watching him open the old blanket, revealing a rough stitch and some blood stains. Someone tried to stop the bleeding, but it wasn't done properly. Hellman said, his face grave. "We must give first aid." Immediately Hellman asked everyone to prepare hot water, bandages, and some herbs. Freya held the baby in her arms, feeling a surge of sorrow. Who would be so cruel as to abandon a child to a bear? Many began to whisper strange theories. Perhaps the grizzly bear had saved the baby. The baby squirmed and cried out every time Hellman touched the stitches, a sight that broke everyone's heart. Suddenly Grandma Elsa noticed a small silver necklace with intricate patterns around the baby's neck. She took it off and found a thin piece of paper inside the locket with smudged handwriting. Hellman unfolded the paper, and everyone leaned in close, listening. intently the scrolled words in Swedish. Read, please save my child, I have no choice but to give it to the bear. Forgive me. The room fell silent after reading the message. Freya bit her lip, trying to hold back her tears. Surprisingly, the baby seemed to sense the care gradually calming down and falling asleep. Grandma Elsa clicked her tongue. Poor thing, something terrible must have happened to lead to this. Hellman nodded, wondering about the baby's true identity, whether someone was chasing or trying to harm the baby. Many villagers debated. Grizzly bears are known to be fierce, so why would it bring a baby to humans? But Freya believed the bear had acted with humanity, as if it understood the baby needed to be saved. Some curious young men ventured into the forest to see if there were any clues about the grizzly bear or the person who left the baby. However, the forest was dense and covered in snow, easily erasing any traces. They only found a few blood stains and bear tracks. The next day the baby was still in a deep sleep from exhaustion. Freya and Grandma Elsa took turns caring for the baby, giving it some warm milk at the small wooden table in Elsa's house. Mr. Hellman recorded the baby's condition and wrote a referral to take the baby to a larger medical center. Freya squeezed the baby's hand and softly called Lamor, a name she suddenly thought of meaning little love in Swedish. Many people approved of this name, welcoming Lilor as a new member. Although no one knew who the baby's biological parents were, the news of the grizzly child spread quickly. Joram became the center of curiosity in the surrounding area. Sometimes Freyr recalled the moment the bear bowed its head as if to entrust its trust. Her heart acted with emotion. The daily hunting and hurting work in the village was temporarily disrupted. Everyone wanted to know how Lilor was doing. Hellman discussed with the village chief, preparing a carriage to take the baby to a hospital 30 kilometers away. In the morning, Freyr, Hellman, and 2 strong men escorted the baby, fearing that the baby would be in critical condition. Along the way, Freya held the baby in her arms, covered her with a thick blanket. Her heart still worried. The first part of the journey was peaceful. The snow was soft under the wheels. The wind was cold, but little Lilor still slept soundly. When reaching the pine forest, Frost suddenly felt someone's eyes following her, turned around and saw only a large shadow looming. It could be the grizzly bear, silently protecting the baby it had given to humans at the hospital. The doctor officially examined Lilor, confirming that the baby had a temporary skin wound that was not too serious. The group breathed a sigh of relief, but Freya cried with joy when she learned that the wound was not life-threatening. While waiting for the test, Freya did not leave the baby's side for a moment, afraid that the baby would feel lost in a strange place. The doctor asked about the baby's parents, but Freya just shook her head. We only know that the grizzly bear brought the baby. He took notes with a skeptical look, but did not object because he knew that the people of Jam were famous for their honesty. After 2 days of monitoring baby, Lilor gradually got better, started to drink milk and made some baby sounds. Freya held the baby and gently stroked her hair, promising, I will do everything to make you happy. When returning to Jam Village, the group was welcomed like heroes. Every family wanted to visit Lil, the baby still could not speak, but her black sparkling eyes seemed to understand that she was loved. Through the winter, the snow gradually melted. The spring wind brought warmth. Baby Lilor also became stronger, smiled more. Freya taught the baby to recognize the smell of pine, the scent of wind, as if awakening the natural instincts the baby had experienced. Many people still wondered, who are the baby's parents? Why put hope in bears? But no one could find the answer. Mrs. Elsa said maybe it's fate. The Baby lives thanks to the kindness hidden in the heart of a wild bear near summer. Fra took the baby to the edge of the forest where she had met the grizzly bear and set out a bowl of water and some food, putting the baby down on the blanket. Freya gently called out, "If you are still somewhere, know that the baby is safe." From afar between the trees a giant gray shadow lurked seemingly. Observing this scene, Lilor babbled and pointed in that direction, laughing as if recognizing her furry benefactor. Fr's eyes were also red. She wanted to get closer, but the bear did not come closer, only whimpered softly and disappeared. The villagers of Joram gradually accepted that fairy talic story as part of their history. An abandoned child brought to the village gate by a grizzly bear in the terrible cold in the evenings by the fire. Elsa often recounted the details of that day, making everyone speechless with emotion. The children in the village grew up with the story of the benevolent grizzly bear, making them believe more in the magic of nature. Lilor lived in love and care. Freya was like an older sister who was always by her side, taking care of her every meal and sleep. Helman occasionally examined the baby, confirming that the baby was developing very well. The scar on her belly had healed. That scar was like a reminder someone had tried to save the baby, and a grizzly bear had brought the baby to this safe land. When Lilor turned 3 years old, the baby learned to speak fluently, calling out "bear, bear" whenever he saw something big. The villagers smiled and said that the mark of the lifesaver was still imprinted in the child's soul. Time passed. Joram became famous for the story of the grizzly bear, for the tears he shed when he learned the real reason the baby appeared. And although no one knows the identity of Lamor's biological parents, everyone believes she is a testament to the love hidden in even the wildest hearts. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.